Hey guys, I'm Stephanie and this is Libby, and we are here at Real Circle to talk about real things within real estate. Today's topic is going to be some mistakes that I've made in my real estate career. Not an easy subject to dive into, but I also am excited to share some of my mistakes so that you, as agents, are not making the same mistakes and can have a successful career without learning the hard way like I had to do. This is going to be kind of a list of something that I wish someone would have told me. Obviously, you know my background. I started out over 8 years ago. When I went off on my own, I had to learn everything by myself through trial and error sometimes. And so let me save you those errors and hopefully give you a little bit of advice that will help you for your real estate career. One of the biggest mistakes that a lot of agents do is they spend money in the wrong ways, basically thinking of like paying for leads when the leads aren't generating. That is a huge mistake that a lot of agents make. Now, I will tell you that there was a time and a market when that strategy killed it. Worth every penny that I spent on my leads because it brought in the leads. But I don't think we're in a market like that anymore. If you had to ask me, that is certainly not where I am putting my time and my money into leads. So make sure that if you're paying for leads, that they're actually paying for themselves and then some, because it can be a huge money pit and a huge mistake. I know of some agents out there right now, they are literally paying the same amount that they get paid monthly for leads. They're not making a profit. They look busy, they have a ton of clients, but if you look up what they're paying for their leads, which you can do, it's not much more than what they're making. I can guarantee that. And so make sure that you're putting your money and your resources into something that will actually benefit your business. Second thing to bring up is that this is a business. Yes, we have relationships within our business, but please keep that in mind. At the end of the day, this was the hardest part for me, and I'm so grateful that Lance stepped in to be my business manager, because I'm kind of like, this is fun, I'm making some money, we're having fun, and I kind of forgot about the business side of things. This is a business, and you have to make sure that what you're doing, what you're paying for, what your time is being invested in is actually making sense, because if it's not, eventually you will drown and your business will not be successful. So make sure that you understand how a business is run, that it has to be profitable, and it's okay to have relationships within those businesses. Trust me, we have lots of relationships with clients, with title and escrow, with other agents, with lenders, all the relationships that we have, but I'm still running a business at the end of the day. So that definitely had some lessons at different times in my career, especially if another turn we can take on this is if family's involved. I've done plenty of contracts for family members. Guys, it's hard. I always say hardest thing to do is work for family, which is fine. I love it. I enjoy it. I wouldn't want my family in anyone else's hands, but at the same time, it is a business. It has to make sense. And so rely heavily on that in all aspects. Third thing I want to talk about, which is a huge mistake that a lot of agents can and that I personally have made, is not finding your own niche. There are so many examples out there of what agents should be doing, what agents should look like, what they should and shouldn't have on their plate. It all comes down to what works for you. I started out and I thought for sure I was going to follow the model of this particular agent and everything that she was doing, I would be as successful as her. And I quickly realized that we were totally two different personalities. We work in two completely different ways. We had different standards, all the things, and I had to go out and find my own niche. And it took a lot of time for me to get in my own groove and for me to be comfortable with how I was doing business, but it worked. In the end, it was my niche, it wasn't hers, and it all worked out. So make sure that you have your own originality, that you're moving forward and what works for you and your personality and how you want to be treated and how you treat your clients. That's huge, huge, huge. And the last mistake that I have made in real estate is not having a follow-up procedure in place. I have since changed this. I'm getting better at it. It is very easy to not have a follow-up in place, but it could cost you a lot of business. I definitely, especially during those really crazy busy years, did not have something in place. I did over 75 transactions in 1 year. That's over one a week at least. I had so many clients that I should have been better. I'm getting better, but I should have been better. I'm grateful that those clients are still coming back to me this day, But had I had a better follow-up procedure in place, maybe it would have been less work on my part in the end. Maybe I would have had more clients come back to me. It is something that is very important. So if you are just starting out in real estate and you want to talk about different CRMs, we've got some other videos on that. It's beneficial to have some kind of follow-up procedures in place. So I recommend you definitely think about that and don't make the mistake that I did and not have one, because it could cost you a lot of money. Thanks for listening today about some of the mistakes that I've made as a real estate agent. Hopefully, these will help you and not make mistakes. Next episode, we're going to be talking about how you can shift from being a salesman to running a business. Obviously, we are all salesmen. I like sales, I love what I do, but I also am running a business that is very important. So, I want to talk about some of those key points. Hope to see you.